Live, go live. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Well, welcome back to the Bernard channel today. And as I promised that today I'm gonna go live about the history class. Well, that history is about what we played yesterday and the day before, the battle station midway. I take some time to do a research on the history. Well, you know what? I used to be a teacher before and teach in high school, teaching in English subject and also history. So that's what I can do. I can always do. So I just do a little research. So I love playing game and I love to teaching as well. So I do a little research. And yep, as I promised, we won't gonna play simply just play the history game and skip the history. So here we are. Here we are to explain about the history we of the game we just play. So yeah, it is about the Pacific Theater of the World War II, and that's well from the event of the game we just recently played. It is from the event on the attack on Pearl Harbor until the event on Battle of Midway. So I just cover that area and explain the detail, what and why and when that it happened, and exact detail on the important event. Example like Battle of Coral Sea and Battle of Midway. Yep, I do the research and give you some detail here. All right, then let's just begin on that subject. Huh? Hmm? Why did they show up? Uh-huh. Okay, here we are. The battle station Pacific. Now Midway. Okay, so here I am gonna explain about the Midway. It's a big event that occur on the World War II, and that's exactly what happened. So let's go to the background of the story. So what happened and why the the Japanese have to do all this? Well, start with the event that really actually start the Pacific Theater on the World War II. So what it is? So let's see what caused it. Okay, the cause of the attack. Let's just say that after the World War One, that one exactly event that start to occur and make the thing very dicey here is the Battle of Tsushima. It is the naval battle that the first time in the history of human that the Asian power win against the European power. Okay, to be precise, the Japan just win the naval battle on Battle of Tsushima Island against the Russia. That's a big news and make the Japan very overconfident, and some even claim it is the divine destiny that they will unite the Asia to stay away from the Western rule. So, so from that, Japan entered a period of expansion. They just keep expanding the territory. Take claim on the Germany. In World War One they lose, but Japan in World War One they join the Ally. So they just simply take over the German territory. That's a small island. They just take it, simply take it, and then they just keep expanding for more resource and even more. They win against the Russia in Korea and take over the Korea as their own territory. But that's very ugly. But sure they want to be expand and enlarge their military capability. So they just expand for more resource. Well, the event of the expansion doesn't get in the Western ally eyes until the important event happened, the Marco Polo incident. Well, some claim that Japanese fire first, some claim Chinese fire first, but what matter here is Japan just always set their eyes on China, the largest area on the Asia and the most resourceful place. So they just simply after that event they just take claim that the Chinese fire first, they have to protect themselves, and Chinese decide to go aggressive against Japan. Well, that's ridiculous, but they just do it and they just steamroll over the China and take the China. For what? For resource. Of course, a lot big army require much more resource and require much more labor. So the attack on the China, well, this event just caused the eyes of the West to turn on Japan, especially the massacre in Nanking. That's a really ugly subject, and America cannot stand idle anymore. So they just decide to go on the trade embargo on Japan to cut off their oil supply. Well, oil is important. You need the oil to fuel the tank, you need the oil to fuel the ship, you need the oil to fuel the plane. Everything about the military structure almost based on oil. So sure, cut off the Japan oil, well, that's really and seriously hurt the Japan resource situation. So in order to do that, in order to fill in the oil, Japan decided to keep expanding. They just expand on the Philippines. They just set their sight on the Southeast Asia. They have some rubber resource and oil resource. So they just set their eye on that. But the Philippines, one problem is that area of Philippines is protected by America. To take over that island of Philippines, that means they have to go against the America. that ugly, very ugly, especially when America protecting them. So Japan start to think how to take over the Philippines. Now, Prime Minister Tojo have a really nasty idea of, well, surprise invasion to distract the America, destroy their morale, and to distract them away from the Southeast Asia. So the plan is about that, well, to hit America first and make them suffer. So when they are trying to recovering from their wound, Japan have a time to take the Southeast Asia. That's a distraction. Well, the distraction that Japan hoped to be. Okay. So this is the basically cause of the attack on Pearl Harbor. So their mission objective, they set their objective as I say, destroy important American fleet units. Okay, basically destroy the fleet when they are docking on Pearl Harbor and destroy most of them, so cripple their strength before they actually engage the Japan fleet. And yeah, they fear that these fleet gonna intercept them on the that East India and Malaya, yeah, that area of Southeast Asia, all of them. So they just have to hit it first. So sure, after they hit the Pearl Harbor, they do exactly what they planned. And two more and one more thing is the Winston Walsh Act, the Naval Act. This is the Naval Act that restrict the shipbuilding capability. They just reduce the ship wider and the ton of the ship. Well, that this act for the mutual defense to prevent some nation to decide to go to war. To break this act means to go to war. So they just simply wait for this act to expire. So in the event of the act that expire, they can decide to build a big ship. And if you play the game like a Kantai Collection or something like Azure Lane, you may notice that after this act has gone, Japan do exactly what the act prohibits. Building the big ship and armor ship, example like a armor carrier or Taiho, and biggest battleship in the history of man, Yamato. So sure, they do it exactly after this act has expired. But well, thing is, before the act just expired, Japan hit first. So when they hit, they just decide, it doesn't matter now. So they just ignore this act and design on the big ship, the huge ship. And to do so, they just decide to deliver the blow to the mobility of American fleet in Pacific. So they just mainly target on the battleship. Target the battleship of the America while they are on the port in Pearl Harbor. So this is a aim to cripple them, to reduce their strength. So no wonder. Yeah, that answered the question a lot when we played the battle station Midway, the 2 episodes before, and we found out that the US barely have a battleship. So this is the target, and they deliver it exactly. They just blown every single battleship America still have on Pacific. So that's a really hurt. So in the end, we have to fight Haruna with just a cruiser and destroyer, and also submarine. yeah, that's great. That's very exactly the history is shown. Okay, and also they hope to undermine the American morale. Well, America before World War II, they just suffer from the economic depression. Well, the depression make the America troop. The America can deploy troops in very limited number. They can only deploy in the limited time, and they can maintain a field to preserve their economy. So this is the problem for America, and Japan know this because there is one thing is in around 1935. In year 1935, Japan and America also doing the joint Navy exercise together, and one of them is the legendary Isoroku Yamamoto, the legend of the Pacific and the Grand Admiral of Japan. Yeah, he is a very legend. But the thing is, oh what? Sorry, just mess up. Okay, that's work. Okay, this is better. So sure, they hope to destroy their morale before going to war. Make the American doesn't believe they can win against Japanese force. So that seems to be like that. And they hope. They doesn't hope for the invasion of the US mainland. They hope that US, the America will just sign the peace treaty to Japan after they show the Japan that they already rule the sea. You are not. Well, let's just say the plan, this objective is work in the opposite direction. As we can see that after they attacked the Pearl Harbor, well, the American people just almost immediately rise. Almost immediately rise and fight against Japan in the mass. En masse. Well, that's a really gone wrong, right? And what's go wrong with the attack on Pearl Harbor? Well, sure, the attack delivered a lot of damage, but significant damage haven't been delivered. Example like the one thing that the Japan hoped to do but one failed to do is they analyzed the Pearl Harbor very wrong. They hope that they sink the ship and the ship can go to the bottom and sink. The problem is the harbor in Pearl Harbor is very shallow. So when the ship just gone under the wave, it's simply just almost like half afloat or something. When they capsize, example like Oklahoma, if I recall correctly, he just capsized and still capsized until present day. Yeah, because the shore doesn't been so deep. So when the ship capsized, it just stuck itself in the base of the harbor, and they just still afloat like that. So it is what it means. It means that the crew can simply survive. Well, if you trap in the ship, you just drill the hole on the opposite direction, and there you go, free. And moreover, they hit in the wrong moment. They hit in the moment that the crew in the Pacific Fleet just take on the leave. They just go to the home and have the easy Sunday on the home. So simply when they just hit the ship. Most of the crew still at home. Okay, and what really matter here, not the ship they destroy. What matter here is they fail to destroy the US carrier, 3 carrier. It is the Enterprise, Lexington, and Saratoga. She failed to destroy. They failed to destroy. Why? Because when they attack, when they decide to attack, they just doesn't have. Well, they just these 3 carrier just stay off the shore. Well, example like Enterprise, Lexington, and Saratoga. Saratoga and Lexington just leave on patrol duty, and Enterprise just finished the patrol and heading back to the Pearl Harbor. Well, so this show in the movie of the Midway, yeah, the movie that recently shown on the screen in the theater the year before, that the American fleet, the American plane just arrived at Pearl Harbor very soon. Why? Because Enterprise heading back to the Pearl Harbor. So in the moment they attack, the Enterprise can launch the plane to intercept the Japanese plane that wreaking havoc on the Pearl Harbor. So this is a problem, and moreover, they fail to destroy the airfield. yeah, they failed to destroy the airfield. So simply, well, yes, they attacked the airfield, but the number of the plane they didn't estimate that how much plane they destroyed. But thing is, they destroyed some plane, and the U.S. planes still able to take off and fight them. This is scaring them. And one thing is, they failed to destroy the fuel, torpedo storage, maintenance shop, and dry dock facility. So what this means, they destroy the ship, but that doesn't destroy the facility. So well, the harbor has been damaged, but not completely damaged. Simply put, the Pearl Harbor gonna be back on its feet again very soon. They just destroyed the ship, but they haven't destroyed the naval base. So simply, they're gonna be ready to fight the Japan very soon enough. New ship gonna arrive and fight Japan and take the fight to Japan very soon because they failed to destroy this one. Well, for this there is a consequence about that. Well, in the Japanese side, there is the idea. Some junior officer named of Fuchida and Genda also urged the Admiral Nagumo to do the third strike. Well, in the attack on Pearl Harbor, there is two waves. The first wave hit the ship, the second wave hit the airfield, but well, the second wave doesn't been so successful. And especially someone have a right idea, let's just say right idea about this, because he also planned to invade Hawaii after air attack. Well, if they can, imagine if they can invade Hawaii after the air attack, the Americans still confused and still organized, and then the Japanese invasion force land on Hawaii right there. Well, easy victory, right? Yeah, that's a very interesting idea. But well, they were advocate. They were ignored. That plan doesn't come in true. Why? Let's just say that the Japanese politics in that time, well, still a little bit of a confusion. Well, especially about the Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. He is legend, yes, but in that time he was very against the idea of attack America. Well, he used to join the naval exercise in 1935, and he see the capable of America. That America have a lot of industry, and what if America convert that industry to military industry? They can simply that means America can have a lot of factory ready to produce the material to fight, and while the Japan doesn't have much industry capability equal to America. So this is a problem, and Yamamoto fear that if you fight America in a prolonged fight, they will be destroyed. And that come to the truth. But in that time, many generals believe that Yamamoto-san is coward, doesn't dare to fight. Well, they just believe in a lot of military doctrine of Bushido, a lot. But well, maybe sometimes over the reason, a little bit. Well, I doesn't blame the Japanese people for this, but it is a history on that time. What happened there? Yeah, that was recorded. Okay. Well, speaking of recording, I sometimes had hope that after this after this COVID thing has subsided, I might plan to travel to the Japan Naval Museum to study more about the history on the Japanese side. I really wish to know, because well, the more I know, the more I can explain. Well, the teacher duty not only teaching but also learning new things to share. Right people? Okay, so yeah, that's a thing. The right idea on invading Hawaii, but has been thrown away. So instead of that, Genda decided that third strike is necessary to destroy the base. Well, he and Fuchida suggest to attack the third wave. The problem is Admiral Nagumo. Well, someone may say him indecisive, but well, when come to think of these factors, you might think he cautious. Well, it is depend on the point of view, right? Yeah, it is depend on point of view. Well, what Nagumo think about that is America anti-aircraft performance has improved. Well, let's just put it this way. After the first wave, the America is confused, and the second wave, America scramble everything, and the third wave, what do you think? America in Pearl Harbor bloody alert by now. So if they launch the third strike, well, what they're gonna face is the full power of the not full power, but they just prepare something for them. Example like a plane. Now America also have plane in the skies. This will be very trouble for third strike and the anti-aircraft. Yeah, everyone man the gun already. So if they come on the third strike, they're gonna suffer a heavy loss. And Nagumo afraid that if use the third strike, he will lose a lot more aircraft, more than he think it necessary. So that's a one factor he doesn't decide to attack in the third wave. And yep, what he fear the most, fear until the end of the war. Yeah, let's just say. Well, if you study this history or play some game about the naval action, you will see that Nagumo fear this factor until the end of his life. Yeah, he feared the location of American carrier. Well, he know after the first and second strike, he realized American carrier is not in Pearl Harbor and somewhere out there. So he feared that the America, especially Enterprise, is somewhere out there and he doesn't know where. So he's just very concerned that after he launched the second strike, he feared that American carrier might have their location already, and they might probably send the air wing against them already. So he just feared this factor because he doesn't know the America carrier is where. He just aware of that. Okay, well, that is one case, but he aware of that in the wrong time because Enterprise also doesn't know what to do now. He just lost contact with Pearl Harbor, and what they try to do is send the plane at the Pearl Harbor, and still doesn't cope up yet that what's going on. So not only that, but also Enterprise doesn't know the Japanese carrier as well. Where are they and where did they come from? That is very, very thing that haunt the America on Pearl Harbor. Where is that come from? The long range radar doesn't detect it. That's a problem. And yeah, and one thing is, I would like to explain this in more detail. That the third wave, Admiral Nagumo decide if they launch the third wave, the plane will have to return to ship to carrier at night. And in that age, one thing I want to tell is they doesn't have the infrared system, they doesn't have the guidance system, they have to land manually on the carrier deck. So landing at night is nightmare. They doesn't see a thing, only a spotlight. Well, that doesn't enough. Okay, so they might just fail to land, drop in the water, or collide with another plane. So this is a problem. And in that time, the only one nation that developed some sort of night operation is in England. England do that, but not in the big scale. So Admiral Nagumo believed that it's gonna be hard to prepare the plane and return at night. It will be hard for the pilot. And one more factor is one more factor is this thing: fuel. Short on fuel, running low on fuel. Well, that could maybe where I suspect this is a very common excuse to pull back. We are low on fuel. I see in a lot of movies and a lot of games that when they decide to pull back, they just say we are out of fuel. What? Easy like that? Well, yeah. Sometimes to preserve something, it means to lie. And this time it might be a little liar. And sometimes someone might argue it is the suitable lie because, well, one thing that the documentary shows is the Japanese fleet that hit the Pearl Harbor travel in radio silence from Tokyo. They just travel a long way to this place, and what they need to reply, but they just travel straight to Pearl Harbor for the silence and for preserve the fuel as well. And they aim that they will just came back to the Southeast Asia and resupply. But problem is, if they sustain much more fighting, they just running out of fuel, and worst case scenario, they might have to abandon some ship on the sea because out of fuel. So Admiral Nagumo think of this, he decided to just go back home. Okay, and one thing is Admiral Nagumo, well, someone say overconfident. He believed that the second strike delivered the main objective to hit the Pacific Fleet, but so he just said, well, we did it, objective complete, mission accomplished, let's get back home. He said well, he is wishing like that, and he believed the Pacific Fleet is done. He just believed that. Well, he destroyed a lot of ships but failed to destroy the facility. Well, destroying the ship is their main priority, right? So he just decided, well, that's it, mission accomplished. Why wasting more life? Get back home, resupply. So that's it. Okay, so that's area about the attack on Pearl Harbor, that they hit hard, but well, hit hard, yes, but complete destroy the enemy? Nah, not enough. And this is the rise of the America fighting again against the Japanese, and leading to the event of the turning point of Pacific Theater, the Battle of Midway. Okay, now let's go to the offensive. Well, as I say, the attack on Pearl Harbor is merely distraction, as they claim. They just come and try to hit the Pearl Harbor to distract the America to focus on their home while they're striking the Southeast Asia very hard. So what happened when after they hit the Pearl Harbor? Well, yeah, they hit the Southeast Asia in the same way. They just met with a few garrison like a British, Australia, Dutch force, and even some American that undermanned and under-equipped. So when they hit hard, and they can barely resist. So in the end, it just been a maneuver retreat. Usually British, Australia, Dutch force, okay, yeah, they just outmaneuver and outgun. So they just have to abandon the Philippines, especially the General MacArthur. He stayed on Philippines, and when the Japanese hit them hard, they have to retreat. Also, the Allies suffered a disaster loss on the fleet. Okay, the British ship HMS Repulse, HMS Prince of Wales has been sunk in off the Malaya Peninsula at 10 December 1941. Yep, two of the big ships of the Royal Navy has gone. Well, she just be there and try to fend off the Japan attack. But one thing is, it is another era. If it's a World War One, the big ship is the pride of the Navy, and they can do a lot of damage to enemy. But problem is, in World War Two, the the way to do the war in the sea has changed. Well, they changed from the big ship fighting using the battleship against battleship. They changed into the naval aerial warfare using a plane from the airbase or carrier to destroy the enemy far away. And that's lethal, especially when in the age that the ship doesn't have much of the AA anti-air capability like nowadays that we have the guided missile against the aircraft. In that time, they just using machine gun and a lot of AA flying on the sky and hope it hit a plane. Well, that doesn't mean so precise, right? Just shoot everything in the sky and hope it hit. That's a anti-air doctrine in the World War II. Yeah, right. So sure, you will see a lot of ships in World War ship have a lot of gun on the rear and the small guns. So why that? They use as a AA and hope that the more gun they have, the more bullet they can throw at the skies. And perform the AA umbrella, the range that the AA gun can reach to the skies. They just hope to do that. But well, in fact, the plane can slip through and drop you some bomb, give you some bang, and one bang and is sometimes more than enough to blow the ship. And we will see at the Battle of Midway as well. Okay, you see? And about the Burma, in the theater of Burma, British troops just fighting retreat and try to do the guerrilla warfare on the Burma territory to prevent the Japanese to reach India. But despite their effort, they still lost a lot of territory on Burma. But yeah, their heroic effort has bear fruit sometime. They just held the supply line to Chinese resistance long enough, and moreover, well, in my country also show that it is the let's just say the bridge on Kanchanaburi. Well, that railway bridge has been destroyed by the British Commando, or simply put, it's a Gurkha division. So they just join operation with the Thailand. Join the operation with Thai resistance to destroy the bridge and prevent the Japanese to resupply their force on Burma. And yeah, so and because of that, the ally is undermanned and under-equipped. They're just simply being overrun and losing air superior. Air superior is important in every war. If you control the sky, you can bomb enemy, well, anywhere. So they just fall really quick. And well, like they say, like Commander Walker say in Battle Station Midway, Japanese invasion fleet cut us like a samurai through watermelon. They just attack fast and they can barely defend. Well, yes, some of the British and Australia, America, and Dutch, well, they decide to do some sort of resistance in the sea. Abdacom. They may say it is Abdacom. Oh, Australia, British, Dutch, and America, 4 nations form an Abdacom to try to delay the Japanese fleet before they reach the Australia. But even their effort, the Japanese also have some momentum and start to bomb Australia. attacked on the city of Darwin on 19 February. They bombed the city, really. So yeah, they bombed, but they just still fail to invade. They just still fail to land the troop on the shore of Australia. Okay, but one more thing is America. After they were hit on Pearl Harbor, they decided to take a little revenge on the Japanese as well. So they decided to do an unthinkable thing, using B-25 Mitchell bomber, really, the two-engine bomber, deploy it on the deck of the carrier USS Hornet, and use this group. Well, the carrier deck is shorter than the takeoff range of bomber. This is a land-based bomber. So well, that area crazy, but work. They decide to do the same fashion as Japanese do. Japanese do just radio silence their way to Pearl Harbor. Well, the American do the same. Radio silence to Tokyo. And making the Doolittle raid. So they just put the B-25 and bomb out the Japanese homeland, Tokyo. They decide to bomb the industrial complex of Japan. Well, even they try their best and they can launch the plane, well, the damage they cause is little. But well, physical damage little, but moral damage is heavy. Well, one thing is Emperor. The Japan Emperor on that time. Well, I need to think of his name. Hirohito. He is in Tokyo that day when this Doolittle raid attacked. That angered the Japanese people so much and shattered the image that their island cannot be invaded. So they just these Americans just proved that they can reach their homeland as well. A threatened letter. And moreover, after this event happened, Admiral Yamamoto, on that time he was subsided and very second-rate by the Parliament of Japan, of Japan government by there. Well, after this attack, well, everyone turned their eye on Yamamoto. It is like, Admiral, what you say is right. Now we have to listen to you. But still, some of them still hold grudge against him and making the condition that after he doing an attack that still maintain the momentum of offensive. After that, he need to resign. Well, Admiral also aware of that, but he still do the job for, well, he might doesn't like the parliament, but he still believe in emperor, so he do it anyway, and he craft a plan. Yes, a really good plan. Battle of Midway. He decided to attack Midway. That is the staging theater. The Midway Island doesn't been so far from the Pearl Harbor. Yes, so if he can take Midway again, he can this time attack Pearl Harbor easily. And if he can attack Pearl Harbor easily, now this time he can probably send the invasion force against Pearl Harbor. But yeah, that's a really risky, and risk he take. The more risk he take, the more risk he gonna lose in Midway. Well, yeah, because he tried to do that, but a lot of things happen. So after that, after the Japanese fleet has swiftly cut through the Southeast Asia, they just simply almost reached the Australia, and that come to the Battle of Coral Sea. One thing that I say the pre-stage before the Battle of Midway, well, that is significant progress and significant loss for both sides. Okay, so let's see what happened. So beforehand, let's just say that after the Japanese just keep cutting and cutting allied force out of the Southeast Asia, and now they reach Tulagi Island. Well, in the game we have shown that the Tulagi Island we have to invade it. But problem is, in this time before Midway, Tulagi has been invaded by Japanese first, and only Royal Australian Air Force that's stationed there, a small unit, they cannot fight, so they just have to retreat without a fight. So simply when Japan force arrived on Tulagi Island, they just simply walk in and build the fortification and also build the airport as well. So simply put, they just easy take. And next thing, after they take Tulagi, they aim furthermore, and this time they aim right at the Australia Island, Port Moresby. They just aim for Port Moresby, and well, yeah, if they can land on Port Moresby, they can simply put the force on the Australia soil. This is a very dangerous situation, and Allies suffer a loss after loss. They just need to do something about this. So they just put the carrier force to intercept them before they reach the Port Moresby. And moreover, so when they just get in there, they just have to refuel with the tanker called Unofficial on island before they reach the Port Moresby. Okay, but yeah, after that they also receive a message. The Pearl Harbor just messaged the Admiral Fletcher that something is going wrong, that they just intercept the message that the enemy gonna attack the Port Moresby. Well, on that time they just have no idea what's going on and where the Japanese will strike next. But after that they just found themselves, well, message come through. They attack the Port Moresby. Well, let's just say thanks to Bletchley Park, a loose coalition of musicians and mathematicians America can assemble, come and decipher a code, the message code from Japan. Well, this is a new technology, but well, let's just say it is accomplished more than they imagined, and they just precisely predict that. Yep, because when they just simply detect that, the invasion force is on the way too. So simply after they detect, they just make the scout and discover the invasion force. So they just simply put the B-17 bomber against it. But what more they discover is they have a carrier. The invasion force on Port Moresby have the carrier. Well, that's a surprise. So they just simply say they found the carrier but doesn't know the exact location. So they just try to scout each other so much, and in the 6:25 of May 7th, okay, they just send some force to block the strait. Okay, here they are the my mouth doesn't show up, right? Okay, well, they just try to prevent the Japanese invasion force of Port Moresby through the strait that come through from the Guadalcanal. So they just send some fleet there. But something is, at 7:20 on Takagi Carrier Scout from Chogo report US ship bearing 182. Well, they just report that one carrier, one cruiser, and 3 destroyer. They just report that. They just confirm that. Well, in that time they doesn't have the good imaging system, so they just rely on the eyes. And when you're on the plane and look from above to the ground, you'll see almost small detail. So yeah, they just assume that it is what. So they just see a carrier, a cruiser, and destroyer. So after they relay the message to Shokaku carrier, well, so Shokaku sent a lot of plane against them and believe it is enemy carrier. But no, what they misidentify is it is Unofficial and Sim. Just oiler and a destroyer. Okay. And moreover, in 820, the Furutaka, they are she's a heavy cruiser, Furutaka. She just come here, she just send a plane, the recon plane, and they just say that this time they found the carrier, but they found in the separate group. They just get some message, and they just believe that US carrier operate in two separate groups. So they just detect. Now everyone starts to detect each other now, right? Except America doesn't detect the Japanese carrier yet. But then at 8:15, Yorktown SBD pilot John L. Nielsen sighted Goto Force screening invasion convoy. So he just report back, and this time he found it. 2 carrier and 4 heavy cruiser. Yeah, he found Shokaku and Suikaku. Now after they find that, at 10:13, US Strike Force has launched. They launched 93 aircraft. Well, in the battle station Midway, we may find ourselves that we can launch only 12 planes, but in reality, they send a lot of planes. They just send the plane and let the wingmen group up on the sky, and after they have the signal to go, they launch in drone. They launch in the huge number. Okay. After that, in 1019, Nielsen land and discover his code error. Well, he just find a light carrier Shoho. So yeah, they just have a little coding error. They just find the light cruiser, the light carrier, and 2 cruiser and 4 destroyer. But that's not the main fleet. That's a problem now. Well, in that time, they just, as I say, the imaging. They just have to rely on the eyes of pilot. And after that, the real invasion force come. That light cruiser Shoho is the distraction. So invasion force come at 10:12. That it is the really this time it is the carrier and 10 transport. So Shokaku and Suikaku decide to transfer herself to the attack fleet. Yeah, 10 transport and 16 warships south of Nielsen's sighting. Yep, Nielsen see the position, relay the message, but between the message, the Japanese fleet has diverted their course, and now they right at the Port Moresby. So after that, at 9:15, well, before that, at 9:15, this is a side of the Japanese. Well, after they just received a little bit of wrong message, they believe that Oiler is a carrier and Sims is their escort. So they just decide to attack it. Okay. And after that, in 10:51, Shokaku, this time she just realized it's not the carrier. But well, it's already hit. The destroyer Sim got hit by 3 bombs, broke in half and sank immediately. Unofficial, the tanker, was hit 7 bombs. One of the dive bomber hit the anti-aircraft fire, crashed into Oiler. Well, simply style, Banzai charge. She just rammed right into the Oiler. and heavily damaged. Without power, was ripped and slowly sinking. So yep, after that, they will report back to the America that the tanker has been destroyed. Now they just lost the supply. But in the same time, US Strike Force, the strike aircraft just found Shoho on the distance, so they just decide to attack. Lexington Air Group led by Commander William B. Out hit Shoho with 1,000 pound bomb, and 5 torpedoes got hit them, causing severe damage and torn apart. Shoho finally sank in 1135. So yeah, after Shoho got hit and start to sink, Captain Goto decided to send Sazanami back in 14 to rescue the survivor. Okay, but the fate of Neosho is very, very worse, because between 1518 and 1718, Neosho was tried to radio back the coordinate. They are sinking, but still coordinate is wrong and they just fail to rescue. Now the second day of the battle, well, after the first day, everyone start to get their location of each other now. Okay, America start to plot the location of Japanese fleet, and Japanese fleet also sighting the American carrier by now. So they start to plan the attack. Okay, so now at 8:30, in the second day, everyone start to scout around for the exact location again. And this time, Sokaku search plane has found the Task Force 17. Well, that includes the Lexington and Yorktown. Okay, and notify their position, and now everyone start to Lexington SBD pilot Joseph G. Smith also spot Japanese carrier as well. As I say, everyone start to get their coordinate up and running, so a little scout and report their position, then there we go, everyone ready to strike. So everyone start to send the strike aircraft against them. Okay, after that, at 9:15, Japanese carrier launched a combined strike. The US carrier launched separate strike. They also they launch the plane against each other now. Okay, and each other try to head straight to each other. Why? Because, well, as I play in the battle station Midway, I try to shorten the distance between the flights. Well, this means when you send a squadron of plane attack the ship and they need to come back to your ship and resupply, the shorter the distance is, the faster you can relaunch another attack. So they just try to shorten their distance against each other. And now at 10:51, Yorktown dive bomber just hit Shokaku right at her deck, and she opened the forecast, heavy damage. Well, she got hit first, but not yet. She also already launched a plane. Well, the Shokaku got hit, and now she have to get back to base. Well, Yorktown doesn't finish yet. She put the torpedo plane against her again, but missed. But this time it missed. But still, Shokaku already retreat. And the Shokaku strike plane already going up, and now she just hunt for Lexington and got her. Okay, and 11:30, Lexington aircraft arrived and attacked. Yeah, Shokaku got hit 2 bombs, but missed the torpedo. So, yeah, after her flight deck was hit, Shogaku cannot operate. So she just decided to pull back with another two destroyers to the northeast. And at 10:50, Lexington detect Japanese aircraft. Well, yeah, before she got hit, she sent the plane already. So at 11:13, Lexington got hit by torpedo. Got hit by Type 95 torpedo, and that hit the gasoline storage tank. Well, on fire. She is very much on fire, but not yet. She just got another two bomb. She just got by another two bomb hit her on the deck again. So well, the fire, although the fire has been contained at 12:30, but Yorktown seems lost right now. And for the Yorktown, she got hit as well. Let's just say they hit decisively. Yorktown was hit in the center of her flight deck with a 250 kilogram semi-armor piercing. This is hurt. Well, the armor piercing bomb is like a drop from the sky, piercing through the armor and explode right under the armor. So whatever inside is gonna explode. So yeah, after they just got hit, the bomb penetrated the flight deck and hit inside the ship. So it is, well, also it hit almost through the water line. So Yorktown Hole start to be under the water line now. Yep, after that significant damage, we'll see that each ship has been hit. Shogaku has been hit and out of the fight. Lexington got set on fire, and after they put the fire off at 12:33, it changed reaction. They thought they put the fire off, but no, the fire just spread through the armor room and explode again. And this time it's severe, and now she just unable to do anything. So they have to be abandoned and sunk again, and sunk by their own ship to prevent the capture at 1952. Well, Lexington gone in 1952, and Yorktown, she got heavily damaged, but still made it to the Pearl Harbor. But still, estimate time of repair is 3 months. That's quite long, huh? And Shogaku, she still made it back, but with the damage she got, she needs some time to repair. And also, when she was repaired, she cannot join the midway battle. So this means the Japanese carrier, well, they have 6 carriers, right? Kaka, Akagi, Soryu, Hiryu, and Shogaku, Suigaku have to pull back and withdraw from the battle beforehand. Well, she got damaged at the Korosi battle, so she cannot join the midway. Now the Japanese fleet have the reduced number of 4 carriers, but still that's a threat, right? Because well, right now America lost two carriers by now. Okay, one sink and one heavily damaged. Okay, now it's come to the very turning point of the Pacific Theater, the Battle of Midway. Okay, well, it is quite confusing, but it is decisively. Okay, let's go through the timeline, and this is a real history footage that they take. Okay, at 4:30, first Japanese take off against Midway Island. Well, the first phase is Japanese try to attack Midway Island directly. So they just launch a plane from the carrier group and attack the Midway. Okay, but at the same time, 4:30, 10 plane from Yorktown. Well, you might question, wait, Yorktown got three months of repair, right? Well, 3 months, yes, but Admiral Nimitz directly order the quick repair, give them 3 weeks. Well, what is the mess is in 3 weeks they just still in repair, but well, repair enough to be able to launch to set sail again. And the moment they set sail, the repair crew is still on board. That's a very mess. But well, this gonna be the really interesting thing to happen because these group of repairmen still on board the Yorktown. So yeah, in the same time, Yorktown just launched a plane to search the Japanese ship. And in 534, Japanese ship detect. Yeah, as we play on the Turning Point at Midway chapter, well, the Catalina detects some ship. This time, Catalina detect it. Well, this is a source from the Wikipedia. So, well, some sort claim that PBY Catalina doesn't find the Japanese fleet. But what important is, if I recall correctly, there is a hunt for the submarine happen, and Japanese decide to dispatch a destroyer to sink the submarine. But once the submarine has disappeared, destroyer believe that they are done. So they decide to go back to the fleet and join the fleet. But the moment they go back, a group of planes just spot them. Yep, PBY might find them far off, but not exact coordinate. So in 710, 6 TBF Avenger and 4 USAAF B-26 from Midway, yeah, the heavy bomber. The heavy bomber from the Midway Island take off and try to find the enemy ship and attack. And in 750, 76 dive bomber, 29 torpedo bomber, and 20 Wildcat take off. Well, they just send the plane in scramble by now. They just know that the Japanese carrier has coming, but they don't know their exact location. And 16 dive bomber of US Navy start to attack. Oh, they launch the plane from two places. Launch from carrier and launch from Midway Island. Well, this is a two-prong attack. And also, they have B-17 stationed on Midway Island. So at 8:10, B-17 spot the Japanese carrier group and decide to attack, but miss. No damage. Not a single damage on the carrier fleet. Okay, so in 8:20, 11 bomber of the US Navy start to attack again. Now, well, let's just say they just send the plane out in the sea and hope they find the enemy. And then 906, 12 torpedo bomber, 7 dive bomber, and Wildcat take off. Now this is from Yorktown. Yorktown start to... No. This is a mistake. Yorktown start to send the plane again. And well, they just keep searching and keep searching and keep searching. And well, yes, in 918, they say they spot Nagumo force to the northeast of the PBY location they give. But thing is, as I will explain, Japanese decide to dispatch the destroyer to sink the submarine, and the destroyer rush back to the fleet. And the moment they rush back, these group of torpedo bomber and dive bomber just spot her lonely and decide to plot the course. That, well, what did they do? What did she do here alone? No way destroyer gonna come here alone. So they just believe that she is heading right back to the fleet. So they just follow her, and now they find it. They just luckily find that. And yeah, and 925 torpedo attack, and 930 714 attack from Enterprise, and 1012 torpedo from Yorktown. And yes, in 1025 13 dive bomber from Enterprise start to attack Akagi and Kaka. Well, this pair is just breaking. This pair is just an unlucky one here. Well, they sighting the enemy carrier and start to do the attack, and they decide to do a split up attack. This means they have some 30 and they decide to 15 and 15. 15 for Kaka and 15 for Akagi. But problem is miscommunication happened because they just mistaken the carrier, and all squadron turned out to dive right at Kaka. Only two pilots decide to, well, it is error. No. We need to pull off. So they just decide to pull off from Kaka and head right for Akagi. And also he believed that, well, the plane coming right at Kaka like that, no way she gonna survive. So they just so the two of them decide to go right for Akagi instead. Okay, so and that's it. Kaka got hit 5 direct hits, and yeah, the damage is heavy, and she started to take a fire. She just got on fire. Yeah, the footage showed the moment they just dive right at the Kaka, right at Kaka. Everyone just start heading for her, and yep, that two. You remember that two plane that spread out from the group? She just hit for Akagi and dropped the bomb. Yeah, one bomb hit, only one bomb. But problem is, this is a tale of Akagi. 5 faithful minutes. Okay, once the Japanese carrier group attacked the land base, the airfield at the Midway Island, they decide to change the weapon because, well, right when the plane is back to the ship, they have found the location of enemy carrier. So they decide to hurry up and change the loadout, change from a bomb to torpedo to sink enemy carrier. And they just quickly change that every single weapon is on the hangar. On the hangar inside the ship. So when these two bombers decide to dive at Akagi, one bomb hit through her flight deck and hit right inside the hangar, while every single armament, bomb, torpedo, and bullet is inside. 5 faithful minutes. So it end up the bomb just pierced through, blown up, and blown everything inside. It's a firework. It's turned out to be firework blown off. Akagi just blown off, and no way she's gonna survive that. Okay, and after that, 17 bomber from Yorktown also spot Hiryu and scored 3 hits, causing extensive damage. Well, on fire. So Hiryu's on fire at the same time because, well, they just, as I say, accidentally found them and started the diving bomb and hit, and that hurt. Okay, but that's not all. Not only Japanese suffer only, America suffer too. At 11 o'clock, 18 Val and 6C take off from Hiryu. Hiryu, the last remaining aircraft carrier on that time, start launching a plane on the coordinate of enemy ship, and 10 planes from Yorktown also start to search for Hiryu. But in 12:05, the attack on Yorktown begins. Well, the group from Hiryu spot the Yorktown and start the attack, hit her with 3 bombs, and blew one hole on deck. Okay, so and also the bomb disable the boiler, make the Yorktown almost sitting still. Okay, and that damage is hard enough to make Admiral Fletcher to move his command to heavy cruiser nearby, Astoria. But luckily, as I say, the repair party that come from Pearl Harbor still on board Yorktown. Well, what does that mean? It means that they just simply quickly repair the Yorktown again. And what worse is, well, they just temporarily patch the flight deck and restore power to several boilers within an hour, and that make her like new. And what worse is he will detect Yorktown again. At 13:30, Yorktown, he will detect Yorktown and start the attack again. 24 dive bomber take off against Hiryu. This time Yorktown hit back. Yorktown tried to hit back again, but this time she got hit again. Yorktown got hit again. She got hit but still offload. 10K and 60 take off from Hiryu. Yorktown again in service. Yeah, at 1340, Yorktown start to do it again. So the second attack on Yorktown has come on 1430. The repair effort so effective. So effective. So after the Japanese pilot attacked Yorktown, they expect the Yorktown will be the ship that was damaged, but the repair team just make it like new. So what? Japanese carrier come back and wait, this ship is new, must not be a Yorktown. So they decide to attack it again. But this time, torpedo hit and bomb hit. She lost all power and 23 degrees leads to port. She just start to capsize now. And this time, she got hit hard, too hard. It end up in 15 o'clock, Yorktown has been abandoned. And at 1610, Soryu that was caught on fire finally sunk. And at 17, dive bomber attack on Hiryu. This group is from Enterprise. And what happened to the group from Yorktown? Miss. That group missed. They didn't find the Hiryu. But this time Enterprise found her and sent 24 dive bomber attack her. And this includes the orphan aircraft from Yorktown. Yorktown got abandoned. She cannot land. The aircraft that on the air cannot land on Yorktown. They have to land on Enterprise again. And this time both group attack Hiryu. And this one is successful. 4 bomb hit. Possibly 5. Hit Hiryu and leave her ablaze and unable to operate. And yeah, she was on fire. So Japanese, in order to prevent the capture on Hiryu, so they decide to use the destroyer to send the torpedo and sink her quick. That's a very worst fate for the Japanese carrier, yes. And in the end, at 1925, Kaka sunk. And in 5 June, the next day at 5 a.m. and 9 a.m., Akaki and Hiryu sunk. She just sustained a lot of fire and cannot go on. Now this means Japan has lost 4 carriers in a single battle. That's a really hurt. So what happened aftermath? Japan lost 4 carriers in single battle. That's a really hurt. A loss that never recovered. They never recover again. So they have to change the strategy, completely change it. Only 2 carrier left was Shogaku and Suigaku, and that is worse. Because 4 carrier lost, veteran pilot on board is gone. Completely gone. Especially for Akaki. The bomb pierced through and blown off everything. No one survived. barely a single person survived. So this is a very hurt for Japan. So after they lost the carrier, 4 of them, Japan completely lost the air superior on Pacific Theater. They doesn't have much of the plane and elite pilot against America anymore. And so offensive momentum on Japan has been destroyed. They cannot continue the offensive. So they are being put to defensive action until the end of the war. After that they decide to fortify themselves on every single island and defend to the last. That's an honorable end Well, this moment just a turning point, very turning point. And America, although losing Yorktown, they were still able to win unexpectedly. Yeah, and crushing victory. They just destroyed 4 carriers, and that was completely unexpected. And this is tidal war has been completely turned for America. Japan has lost so many, but America just luckily did score a victory. So America set so this time America can set a stage to counterattack, and this time is a Guadalcanal offensive. They can start sending troops against the occupied island that Japan just occupied. And also, this kind of form has been changed a lot in World War II fighting theater. That intelligence start to be very, very complicated and effective. Example like the Bletchley Park that Admiral Nimitz has grouped up, they prove to be valuable asset for America and continue the service until the end of World War II. Well, they just do the decisive code cracking on the Japanese, and they just know exactly when the Japanese gonna attack and where. So they just find out that the Japanese next target is Midway. So they just prepare everything at Midway. And of course, that's the change of warfare. The warfare rule changed from battleship into the decisive battle by carrier. The carrier and naval aircraft now became the deciding factor of the battle of the sea. Well, it lasts until nowadays. Nowadays, the air superior has started to be very important role in every battle around the world. Well, in Middle East, well, yeah, every time that they start the guerrilla warfare, the air superior come to the play. Both America and Russia start to bomb the hell out of the ISIS because they have the air superior. And especially this show on the Iraq war here. In Iraq war, well, the air superior completely render the Saddam tank army to useless. They just bomb them to hell. So this is a new era of the naval warfare by now. Okay, so lesson learned today. Okay, from the story of the Battle of Midway, now I gonna give you some lesson. It might enhance your gaming performance a little bit. Okay, well, yes, battles are won with information. Remember that before dive right into the battle, always scout the enemy first. The more you know, the easier you win. You will know the enemy, you know the strength, you know the position, and that's gonna help you a lot. Okay, well, example like you can play Apex, Apex Legend. Well, you can simply rush right into the enemy, but if the enemy start to dig in, well, that's a problem for you. So it's gonna be better if you know where the enemy is and what the enemy is. If you know that, easier win. It's always applied to all of the game. All of the game, if you have the better information, the easier you're gonna win and more chance you're gonna win. So I hope that this gonna be the good tactic for you to consider, right? After this, you're gonna be able to consider tactic a little bit. That, well, I'm gonna do this. Hey, let's do this, and the enemy gonna run right into our trap, and yeah, we're gonna win. That's it. Well, and one word of warning: someone who loves to hit and run, someone who loves to do the hit and run tactic, well, it only works when they hit the vital spot. Take the lesson of Attack on Pearl Harbor. They hit hard, they hit fast, and they run fast. But problem is they fail to hit the vital spot. So that's a So that's one cause of the Battle of Midway. The America just quickly regain their strength and able to fight at Midway quite effectively, right? Example like a Yorktown. Well, if it's for Japanese, Shokaku, she got hit, but they cannot perform the stunt like that, the stunt of 3-week repair. They cannot do that. But for America, everything's still intact, and Pearl Harbor, well, all they need to do is sail the Yorktown back to the Pearl Harbor and repair it hurriedly 3 weeks, and they can do that. Yeah. So simply put, if well, think of the alternate history here. If the Japanese decide to hit these things, how long the enemy gonna have to repair themselves, lick their wound? Yeah, that's gonna be really ugly. Imagine the oil tank in the Pearl Harbor has been destroyed. What will happen? The ship that remain have to conserve the oil a lot, and they cannot fight much. The Battle of Coral Sea might not happen. Lexington and Yorktown have to preserve their strength, and also the Battle of Midway also possibly doesn't happen, or happen with a reduced number of aircraft carrier. So yeah, so important example like Battle of Midway, Coral Sea never happened. The Japanese gonna have 6 aircraft carrier at Midway, and with the reduced oil, America have to use a fewer number of carrier, maybe Enterprise alone, and sure, Enterprise alone not enough. six carrier throwing everything at Enterprise. Well, not a good picture, right? The last time they used Yorktown and Enterprise, Yorktown done for. Yeah, that's a really strengthened number. So yeah, hit and run always work, only if you hit the vital spot. Consider the hit and run tactic carefully, okay? And also never lose hope, even in the worst situation. Well, this is a story of the American people. After they got hit by the Pearl Harbor, they really lose hope. Well, bad news keep pouring them. After Pearl Harbor got hit, they decide to go to war, but next thing they know, Southeast Asia, all of it has been failed to Japanese. So they just feel like, Japanese is very effective. They just hit hard and hit fast. How can we fight against that? Well, one thing Admiral Nimitz does have is he never lose hope. He never lose hope on even the worst situation. And the enemy also strong. Yes, he know, but he never lose hope, and he always analyze and looking for opportunity and weakness of the enemy. So it just turned out he just doing the right thing, having the Bletchley Park and decide the right action that will turn the tide of history. So this is one lesson to learn, that you shouldn't lose hope even in the worst situation. Well, this can apply to all of us here. Well, right now we have the COVID-19 crisis on our hand, and everyone just start to lose hope. Well, especially the one who just stay on the extrovert person, love to go outside, but when the COVID struck, they have to go inside, they start to lose hope. But I say this right now, never to lose hope. COVID-19 can be solved, and it will end. No matter the cost, it will end. So never to lose hope. And what do we are here? The Vtuber? What do we do? Well, it seems like it's just playing and showing and try to be a star, but isn't that the duty of the star to keep you having hope, right? Everyone try to do your hope, and also everyone who just think it. One word of warning. When I see you guys, I just visit a lot of page, a lot of channel of Vtuber. You guys start to harass the Vtuber. That's not good. She's not the program. I am not the program. So sure, if you take my lesson and heed my warning, you shouldn't harass them. Being nice, being friend is okay. Being friend and support each other, that's a good thing to do in this critical time. I hope you I hope you understand and be nice together. We are keeping hope from we are keeping hope for each other, keeping us to having hope and survive through this crisis. Okay. So this is the lesson that you may learn today. Oh, one word of tactic. I almost forget. On this actual episode, I'll give you one thing is the technology. Well, no. I'm gonna keep it for the Battle Station Pacific. The technology of search and destroy doctrine and how to do the battle on the sea. Well, that's gonna give you some ideas when you play, example like War Thunder or World of Warship. Yes, it's gonna give you some idea. But now I'll just go for the history. Okay, this is a lesson I teach you, and I hope that you guys learn a lot of history today. Although sometimes it's not clear, but I'm sure this is gonna be the valuable detail for all of us. That I hope that you will learn something from the history and apply it to the normal life. I hope you will learn a lot, and as I say, knowledge is sharing. I hope you guys learn a lot, and let's share a lot together next time. Okay, and one last thing. Every time you play the history game, especially the World War II, sometimes you have to shoot the German, sometimes you have to shoot the Japanese, but remember, always remember, you are not shooting the animal, you are shooting people, and everyone who died in the war deserve our respect. So every time you play the World War game, the game that you have to fight another nation, well, please respect the men who fought for both sides. They just do their duty. They just do what they believe it is right to protect their country. They just do their job. So please respect the men who fought for both sides. Not only the winning side, but also the losing side as well. Okay? Well, that's all for today. And this is a source where I just get it from. It is from Wikipedia. I just do it quick research. Well, hope that next time I'm gonna improve a lot. I just keep improving and keep improving. So don't worry. I'm gonna be getting better soon. Okay. Now it's the end of the history casting today. Okay. Well, that's an interesting lesson, didn't it? And yeah, I'm also keep doing this every time I finish the episode from the game, especially the history game. If I find it, I'm gonna cast it and explain the history to every one of you to understand that, well, we just not simply play the game, we need to know the narrative and history behind it. Well, that is what I call learning from playing. Well, that worked for me. I become teacher because I play game. I have to admit. Okay, but that's true. I become better because I play game. So I just hope that you guys that come to my channel can learn a lot and getting better from just playing game. Remember, not just play, learn it as well. Because in every game, even the fantasy game, have some narrative in it and something able to learn from it too. Okay. Well, thank you very much to joining my teaching today. let's say teaching. Thank you very much to join in today, and maybe next time or maybe this evening I'm gonna play cookie simulator. A little cooking, a little blowing the kitchen, and this is gonna be a little, well, hardcore. I'm gonna go hardcore on this one, and that might be fun. But thank you very much for joining us today. I'm gonna keep doing the history casting every time I finish the episode. And not only just history, but also the narrative and the perspective or even the detail in it. If I can find something, I'll do it for you. Well, stay safe, learn a lot, and be a good guy. Have a nice day. Goodbye. Oh, hope to see you in the next video as well. Goodbye.